Hey guys, my name is Armin. I'm a co-founder of Hexact, the company that brought you Hexomatic. Today we're going to be talking about scraping. Show you a little bit about how we scrape, how we do that, how I can help you, and how you can be better at scraping yourselves. So right now, it won't take more than 10-15 minutes as promised, and then we can do a short Q&A. If anybody does have questions, please feel free. We'll have a little, session at the end, and I'll let everybody kind of ask the questions and I'll answer. So today, I thought I would go through a little bit more of what is scraping real quick, how we do it, and how you can set it up using our system. So scraping in general is grabbing data off of the web, pretty straightforward. It's done at scale. So a couple of key things that you can do with Hexomatic. You can do it at scale, so multiple websites at the same time, and you can do it automatically, so scheduled, and it works in the cloud, so you don't have to actually intervene once you set up the workflow. So this is how Hexomatic looks like when you log in. This is what you're going to see. You're going to see your dashboard. I'm not going to go too much into details of what you're seeing. We're just going to jump right into the scrape. So for today's purposes, I just picked a website, and I thought I'd just show you that. So we're going to try to scrape this website here. It's called forbiddenplanet.com. They sell, among other things, books and comic books and collectibles and so on. The reason why I chose this site is because I wanted to show you how it works in terms of structure and how you scrape when the website has the same structure. So in any case, if you're scraping any type of website that's like e-commerce or, for example, job portals, anything to do with real estate, the first things first, we want to find the page that's the catalog page. Okay, eBay, Amazon, Forbidden Planet, any of these kinds of websites will have a catalog page. So what I mean by that is I'm just going to click on books here. Let's say we're looking to scrape books. I'm going to click on that. Brought me into books. And then here, see, like this is still not the catalog page. This is still advertising page, right? So a catalog page usually would have like a list and it will look a lot more structured. It'll have filters on the side. It'll have names and prices and dates. So that's what you're looking for. So something like this. This would be a catalog page, basically. It has the results here. It has the filters on the left side, just like any e-commerce or any type of catalog-based website. And these are sort of all of the books that you're seeing here. Here, for example, I'm saying, you know what? I don't want to sort by relevance. I just want to do recently added, for example. So I just want the newer ones up front, and I want to scrape the newer ones. And it's going to load in. Once that loads in, so this is where it gets a little bit crucial and we want to understand, and this is what you really need to understand, is there's a two-step scraping process here. So first things first, I want to scrape this entire page that I see here. So that's pretty straightforward. But for example, this page doesn't have all of the details of each of these items, each of the books. So I want to go into, like, let's say Play Shadows. I click on that and I go into that page. And this is that specific item's page. Here, that's also like a big description of the book, right? It has a little bit more details, price and so on, the older price, the newer price, the discounted price, signed by, what the name of the book is, and so on. So we want to scrape this page for all of the different items that you see here, but at the same time, we want to scrape all of the stuff inside this page as well. So how do we do that? How do we set up a scraper that's going to go for both? So the key here is to understand is structure. The website is structured identically. What that means is if I'm on this page right here and you see the picture is here and this is on the right side, name, and on the bottom here, there's the price. And if you scroll down, there's the description. If I go to any of the other ones, let's say a Rip Through Time, another book, it's going to have the same exact structure, right? So if I go to this one, it looks identical to this page. All that's changed is the content inside of the structure, right? The picture itself, the name itself, and so on. So what this means is if I can train my robot to scrape this page, it will know how to scrape any page that has this structure specifically. So as long as the structure is the same, it will be able to use the same recipe to scrape the data over and over and over again. So from that perspective, all I need to do is, number one, teach the robot to scrape this page. And then number two, feed it all of this listings. Okay. And that's what I'm going to show how you do it we're going to do that together through Hexomatic. So first things first, I want to scrape this inside page, teach the bot to scrape this. I'm just going to grab this URL from the top here. I'm going to come to Hexomatic, scraping recipes in this case. I'm teaching the robot, so it's a recipe. Click on scraping recipes. I'm going to click on create new, and I'm going to paste this in, right? So I just grab that. I'm going to paste this in. Oh, I don't need the product specifications. All right, same difference. I'm going to paste that in, and here's what's really cool about our new system. We have this little thing on the top here that's kind of brand new, enable restricted residential proxy for highest success rate. What that basically means is if I just try to scrape it like this and I click on preview, this page will not load. Okay, like that. It's going to give me an error code. What this error code basically means, it's saying that I don't know who you are, or you are a robot, or whatever. For some reason, the website doesn't like the robot entering that page. So how you do it is very straightforward. You click on this little residential proxy, you turn it on, and when you pop it on, the likelihood, the success rate will significantly increase for any website that you're trying to search. My browser is out of data for some reason. Give me a second here. Awkward. There we go. So it loads in like that. If you turn off the residential proxy, it will not load, basically. So it does load. We turned on the residential proxy, so it all looks good. So this is sort of the listing page I just plugged in. So from the listing page, all we're trying to grab is basically every single one of these links. So if I click on this, that's one link, right? That opens up that. If I click on this, it's another link that opens up that. If I click on this one, it's a third link that opens up that page. So all I'm trying to do basically is grab these links. And if I can grab every single one of those links from this catalog page, and I feed it into the scraper that will scrape the inside page, then we can, with one click, scrape everything that we see on the screen. So in this case, I'm set up here. So what I want to do from here is I want to grab the URLs. How I do that is I click on this button or wherever the URL is. In this case, it's in the name. I'm going to click on that, select all. It found 24 items. So here on the bottom, it says the might. What that means is it's still taking the name, but I don't want it to take the name. I want it to take the URL. So I changed the type from unset to link URL. Bang. There's the URL on the bottom. So it's going to scrape now these sites, these links. I'm going to call this URL just so I know that's the URL. And I'm going to save that. And I'm going to save this. That's it. So this scraper is saved. On the top here, it'll pop up right there, new recipe. So that's going to scrape all of the URLs. Second thing we need to do is create another recipe. Go into one of these pages, like that, for example. All right, residential proxy on. Alrighty, so page loads it, load it in. And from this page, what do I want to grab? I want to grab the name. I want to grab the price. I want to grab the description. So, drag and drop. You just kind of go around like that, click on what you want to grab, single select, so it'll grab sword play, magic, intrigue, and blah, 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 blah. You can grab all of the information down here. The genre is fantasy, publisher is Arcadia, signer is this, and so on. So you basically just click on everything that you want to grab, and then we save that workflow as well. So once again, this first one is going to scrape the listing, so the catalogs, the links to all of the product pages, and the second one is set up to scrape one product page. But because, once again, all of these product pages have the same exact structure, that one recipe that we set up for Play of Shadows will work for all of the books that is in the catalog. All right? So once we have that done, I'm going to go, so both of my recipes are set. I'm going to go into workflow here. I'm going to click on create new. Workflows is pretty straightforward. Everything runs off of workflows. So here you just have to give the robot, task 1, task 2, task 3, and so on. In this case, task 1, I want you to scrape the listing page, right? Forbidden Planet list. And task 2, I want you to scrape the single page, the product page. Now, when it says product page, it's going to ask you what is the source. So where do I get my links from? Source is going to be URL, which is what we named the column from here. So basically, this is going to go in and scrape all of the different URLs. And then this one's going to go into every single one of those URLs and rerun the same recipe that we set up for this page over and over again. And again, because the structure is the same, it should work for all of them. You name your workflow. Let's call this test. You click on bottom right corner, continue, and run now. And that's it. So it will be in progress and it's running. I actually ran it just before this session. And so this is basically the result that you will receive, just so that we don't waste time on it running once more. So here's what the output is going to look like. Cool. So we have the initial URL there. We have the title of all of the books, right? We have the URL. So this was sort of the key, right? So one of the scrapers is just basically scraping this column here. And then the other scraper is scraping everything else from within that URL. And then from within the URL, we're getting the date, the description, so the entire description of the book, price, and the picture. We also scraped like the picture. So this was Play of Shadows. Let's just make sure, yep, it scraped the correct picture, so it's good to go. So this is sort of what the output is. Now, this was only for page 1 of that catalog. And if the catalog has page 2 or page 3 or page 4, that's also an option. You can paginate and it will flip through all of the pages. It will grab all of the URLs with the first scraper, and then it'll add the second scraper, which is going to grab all of the details from inside that product page. Once again, the key here is you want to make sure that when you're setting up your recipe, you are using this residential proxy just so that that success rate goes higher, and making sure that the scraper will actually work. Last but not least, I started to play around with it a little bit. Not the most relevant thing, but it's pretty cool. What I did is I basically took the same exact thing we just did. So scraping the listing page, scraping the single page, and I added a little ChatGPT on top. So what I did is I took whatever we're getting from description, so this column right here, which is describing each of the products, in this case, each of the books, right? I'm pasting that, so description source. So I'm telling ChatGPT, grab that description from that top scraper, and you run this prompt. And the prompt is, write a short Instagram post about a book with this description. And it says this description because it's going to paste that description into it. No more than 40 words, right? Just a very short prompt. Not the best prompt probably, but still a relevant one. And if you want to resell these books and you're looking to, and you could do the same thing for job sites, you can do it for real estate sites, you can do it for basically any website that has a catalog structure, right? And let's see what we got. I actually ran this again right before we started. So same idea, you just add ChatGPT on the bottom and then you run it, and this is what I got. Let me quickly show you how that would work. So basically here where you have the list and then the single, little plus sign, so add another task, search bar, I'm going to write ChatGPT. ChatGPT will pop up, click on that. It's going to ask you for the source. In the source, I'm going to select what I want to feed into ChatGPT, in this case, the description, and then you would write whatever your prompt is, write a short, Instagram post or whatever you want it to do. So hypothetically, whatever you're scraping here, date, price, image, URL, title, all of this can be fed into ChatGPT for processing using your prompt, and it's being done at scale. So this is the output. Again, it looks very similar. So again, title, URL, date, price, all the same. And then here comes the ChatGPT stuff at the end. So for example, for Play of Shadows, Swordplay meets stagecraft in this spellbinding play of shadows. Dive into a world of duels, deceit, and daring escapes with damsels and a vibrant troupe of actors, right? And so on. Second one, let's look at, I don't know, Darker by 4 or whatever it is. Lost Magic, Stolen Vengeance, and A City in Pearl. Dive into Darker by 4 for a breathtaking urban fantasy adventure with twist art and so on. And again, each and every single one of these is customized to that specific product because it's taking this description as input and then using that as the basis to write the actual post. So more or less, that's it for today, guys. I hope we remained in the 15 minutes as promised, and I can open it up to Q&A if you have any questions. Either raise your hand or write it in the chat or whatever it might be, and I'll be happy to help you out. All right, Les Henderson. If I'm collecting a list of companies from various sources, what's the best way to clean up the data for duplicates or combining data, like when one row is missing the phone number or email from the other row? That's a very good question. So there's a couple of things that I would recommend. First of all, if you're collecting different data from different websites, from various sources, and they're various websites, each website is going to have a different structure. So in any case, you would have to at least once set up that scraping recipe and train the bot for that specific structure. Then you can rerun that same scraper over and over again on all of the subpages of that same sort of website. That's number one. So in any case, different sources are going to land in different CSVs. So you would have to kind of combine those and then run for duplicates. Combining and running for duplicates overall is a very easy Excel function. So there's no real necessity for me to do that within the Hexomatic space. The easiest way would be just to put it into Excel or Google Sheets. And then Google Sheets has a remove duplicate function, and you can just kind of click on that and it'll do it automatically. That would be the easiest way. Second question here. Do you support writing and running regex to allow us to parse data within Hexomatic? Yes. It's a very detailed question. So that's a little bit more for like the sophisticated scrapers, if you will. But here inside of a scraping recipe, I'll just show you where you can find that. So when you're setting up your recipe here in scraping recipe, regardless of what recipe it is, let's just load one of them. That one. That's a very good question. So on the right side here, where it has the elements, so this is where you would play around with the details of it. And when you're clicking on something on the right, there's always this edit button. And if you click on that, you can refine the selector, and then that would be like HTML XPath or the selector, and then you can specify the data points, and then you can kind of play around with the regularities, the regex, and so on. So yes, there's a way that you can customize things, and you can go more and more and more into the sophistication of the scrape itself. Why don't you just, what I would do, my recommendation is click on the link. I'll share it once more, but click on the link. We can hop on the demo and kind of go through the details of what you might be looking for in your use case specifically. And that will allow us to kind of deep dive into the techie stuff, which might not be that relevant for a broader audience. That's a little bit of a sophisticated question, but it's a very good one. So I'm just popping in the link there. Easiest way would be click on that. So yes, the answer is yes, short answer. Just book a demo. We can jump on and kind of talk through that. Okay. What would be the particular use case for this example? Affiliate for the bookstore question. That's a very good question that you're asking. There are multiple. So either it be an affiliate, yes, or competition. That's number 2, or somebody who is a reseller. So they would be like a drop shipper, for example. That's also another use case for something like this. So again, I just showed the bookstore, so I know that the bookstore itself is not the most, widely known use case. But the idea wasn't the bookstore itself. The idea is that any website that has a catalog structure, you would use the same exact process to scrape it. So, and there's multiple use cases for websites that do have, structure, catalog structures. Thanks for the question, though, Marco. All right, then, can you scrape data from Google, specifically the Google Shopping results? Short answer, yes. We would still have to set up the scraper, just like you would here, scraping recipe, and you would set up the scraper. So the short answer is yes, and it would work very similarly to what we set up here. I'm just curious, are you looking for the reviews? Or are you looking for, again, please book a demo and we can talk about your use case very specifically, but the short answer is yes, it's possible. Mark, number 1, I want to scrape just one column from a table. Is that possible? How do we let the bot scroll and wait as more data is posted on the page? A good question, Mark. So yes, it's up to you how many things you select in a page. So in this case, like if I just delete all of this stuff, I can just click on only one thing like that. Single select, so that would be only one column. And yes, so it's possible. When it comes to you want it to wait to load the page, that's pretty straightforward. On the top right here, there's add actions. If I click on that, there's a bunch of actions that the robot can do for you. For example, it can type if there's a username password and you have to log in. It can click on something if something is necessary to click to open up that data set. It can also refresh. It can block an element if you don't want it to. And in your case, what your question is, you can put a delay. And usually, if it's a very heavy website or it loads very slowly, I would put like a 5-second or a 10-second delay. So what that would do is it would actually enter the site. It would wait 5 or 10 seconds or whatever the delay is, and then it would bring and preview whatever it's seeing at that point, and that will allow for time for you to for the website to load properly. Thanks for the question, though. It's a very good question. All right, back to the chat. So Mark, thanks for the question. Lawrence, can you scrape to get a sitemap for a domain and then scrape for all those pages too? Looking to use this for lead enrichment. Okay, there's a bunch of things that you can do when it comes to sitemaps, when it comes to scrolling through pages and so on. So my recommendation, Lawrence, there would be you don't really need to set up a custom scraper at that point. So on the left side here, I'm going to click on automations. So I just showed you the recipes, the scraping recipes, but if I click on automations and I scroll down this list, there's over 100 tasks here basically that the robot can do that's already pre-built into the system, right? For example, there is a crawler. So that would help you out. It would crawl the page, so it'll grab all that subpages, right? Sitemap, I'm not sure if we have a sitemap. Yep, sitemap extractor, there it is. So that you can actually extract the sitemap and then use those URLs as input for the scraper, and so on and so forth. So yes, the short answer is yes. Again, please book a demo and we can discuss your case in much more detail, but the answer is yes. But definitely check out the automation section here because there's a bunch of stuff that it can do, processing that data, sending it to certain AIs, getting that response back, and so on. Sullivan, could you scrape a job board and then set up an auto email reply to postings? Yes, we can scrape a job board. Absolutely. We do have, actually, if you go to our Hexact YouTube page, I'll put the link right now. There's actually a webinar that we did specifically for job postings. There are some tutorials for that as well. So definitely check out our YouTube page and you'll find it. When it comes to auto email reply, no, we don't have that function at this point. I just actually loaded in Hexact and you can see it right there, scraping job listing sites. So definitely pop in and check it out. But no, we can't put an auto email reply. We don't have that function. Is there an official video of what you just showed us? So this video is being recorded and I will email everybody this video so you have it as reference as well. Can you scrape text from PDFs loaded in Chrome or Edge browsers? Text from PDF. So PDF scraping is probably one of the toughest things. most likely I'm going to answer no. But again, I would have to say let's kind of look through that. We do have an OCR for text, so that should kind of work out of an image. And it's based on Google Vision, so it's pretty awesome. And you can get like image OCR or document OCR. So hypothetically, we should be able to do it. But again, PDFs are a little bit tricky, so I don't want to promise anything. But yeah, you should be able to do it. The only problem with this OCR in general is that it would still, it's a test it out. Let me put it that way. Test it out, or again, let's jump on a demo and I can test it out for you and we can kind of go through it together. If you have like a list of PDFs, send it over, email me like 5 or 6 of them as a sample. I can kind of run it and check it out, and then we can jump on a call and I can show you the results. But yes, it should work. All right, Lawrence, third-party integrations, webhooks, awesome. So left side here on my Hexomatic settings, right here, there is a button called integrations. I'm going to open up integrations. So obviously Google is integrated, so sending everything to Google Sheets and so on. Discord, Telegram, Slack, and Teams for more communication purposes, so notifications. And then we have Make, which was an Integramat formerly, SQL databases, Zapier, Integrally, and Pobly, which are more the Connects, which is more the automation tools, RPAs, WordPress. So these are automatic. And then if it's not here, on the right on top of integrations, there's API webhook. That'll be your API key. And that's the API documentation telling you how to set it up and what you're going to get from it. Yeah, Jeff, I know. I understand. OCR is hit and miss, but again, because we can do it at scale, you can just bulk upload it, press the button, and kind of start getting results. Even if it does 90% of the sites, that'll still save you a shit ton of time. But again, my recommendation is for sure book that demo, and then we can kind of go through it together, see if it's working and how much value you're getting out of it, and then you can make a decision whether you want to move on with the subscription or not. I'm sharing the link once more time for the demo. Once again, guys, if you do book a demo, it'll probably either be me or 2 of my other co-founders. So you'll most likely be talking to one of the co-founders. So definitely make sure you're grabbing this opportunity, because the co-founders aren't going to be doing demos forever. But right now we do want to do it. We want to better understand your use cases, and especially for everybody here in this webinar, we thank you for joining and participating, and we want to make sure we show our appreciation by giving you a chance to talk to one of the people who founded this, and we can go into a lot more detail of your use case. So definitely book a demo. Les Henderson, it looks like most of the automations you show are premium ones. Is there going to be normal going for? Okay, so I'm going to go into automations here. Just so very clear, there's premium and there's 2 types of automations on the bottom top here. There's all types. If I open that up, there's premium and built-in. So the key difference is that I'm just going to click on built-in here. So built-in automations, all of this stuff that you see. So first of all, there's a lot of built-in automations, as you can see here. So built-in automations, all of these are either our intellectual property, so we built them, or there's no additional cost on our side when we are using this. So they only take normal credits. Premium automations are third-party automations that charge us every time you use it. So like every time you send like a ChatGPT prompt, we have to pay for that, and then we just pass that cost along to you using premium credits. That's why premium credits exist, because every time you use any one of these, it's just an additional cost to us, and we want to make sure we're passing it along so it's fair. But where we make our money really is the built-in automations. So we, from time to time, we always go through like the automation, see use case, usage based, which ones aren't being used, we kind of delete them out, which ones are being used more, we kind of figure out the use case. So we're constantly working on the automations, and it's a process. Okay. Les, I like that you've provided $99. Yeah, exactly. So last but not least, I'm going to leave you guys with this one as well. So here, when you go into dashboard, on the top right corner here, you'll see like a little robot. It says, let us create your scraping recipes for you. If you click on that, basically what this is, it's you pay us $99 and we set up the entire workflow for you. You give us the task, you say, I want to scrape this and this and this and this and this from this website, and I want to do this automatically and send it to ChatGPT or whatever. So you kind of explain to us exactly what you want. You pay us the $99. We set up the entire flow for you. We put it in your dashboard. And then all that you have to do is just log in and click run, and the process starts working. If for any reason you're not happy with this, what you're getting, the workflow itself, there's a money back guarantee, and we just refund you the $99. So it's almost like a no-brainer. Do you include any cheap, free, open source AI models that don't need premium credits? Good question. Let's check it out together. I'm going to go into built-in here. So there's a bunch of stuff that you can do. So the crawler is built in. That's pretty cool. Data input. There's some email scraper here. There's a phone number scraper I know is here. So you can scrape phone numbers from sites. You can pull contacts automatically. You can pull their SEO meta tags. I do that a lot. I pull a lot of websites SEO meta tags. You can screenshot automatically. You can pull scrape their social links from any website. So there is a bunch of things that you can do, and they're pretty cool. I use a blend. I would say in my day to day, I'll probably use 60% built-in and 40% premium. But there are use cases that exclusively you can do only with built-in, and it shouldn't be a problem, especially if you're just straight up scraping. Anything that's running through a scraping recipe and you're scraping a site, all of that is 100% built in. It's just processing that data. If you want to process that data using ChatGPT or Gemini or one of these guys, then obviously there's an added cost. I hope I answered the question. Are we able to use your own OpenAI API code to access ChatGPT automations? Jeff, that's a very good question. Unfortunately, at this point, no, you can't. You would have to use our token, but that's sort of just how we built it. Oh yeah, just one quick thing. I did say the scraping recipes are free. That's correct. They don't use premium. But if you do use a residential proxy, if it doesn't work on the normal, so always try without the residential proxy. If it doesn't load or you're having issues, then turn on the residential proxy. That residential proxy will also consume some premium credits. But again, try it with the normal, and if it doesn't load, then add the proxy on top of it. All right, Mark, can you explain the pricing credits? In the example of the bookstore, how many credits would that take? Very good question. So I'm going to open up the bookstore once more. That would be this one. Awesome. So the scraping list itself, that's just scraped one page. So rule of thumb is every one page that you scrape, it's 1 credit. That is the rule of thumb. So this listing page here with the catalog, my robot entered this page, right? And it scraped everything we saw here, all the URLs. That's 1 credit. And then it scraped, let's put a count here. And then we scraped 24 pages. Okay? So it's 24. So basically the idea is that we ran this once, then we ran this 24 times. On top of that, we did use the proxy. So that would, I would go to dashboard here. And if you want to check your kind of usage, you can always go to dashboard, traffic usage, credit usage. So that would show you kind of what the credits are, like that, per day. Same goes for traffic, how many megabytes you're using. Like I just used 200, but this is for the day. I've been using this obviously, but I used 625 megabytes of residential geo. And overall today, I used about 100 premium credits. But again, this wasn't just the only workflows I ran. I'm running workflows constantly. So yeah, that's how it would work more or less. So no, you can't access AI without premium credits. A lot of the high-end AIs, the high-end AIs, yeah, you can't access them without premium credits because all of those, they're pretty expensive. Like having access to Gemini Ultra, which is already in the system, is not the cheapest thing to set up. And every time you run a prompt on Gemini Ultra, it has a extreme cost, and we have to be reimbursed for that cost, understandably. Same goes for like ChatGPT 4 Turbo. It just has such a significant cost on top that every time you run it, If we put that as free, basically, then we would be thousands and thousands of dollars in the red. Lawrence should include a very cheap one that isn't as good but can handle basic categorization tasks. Thanks for the feedback. I'll definitely talk to the team. All right, I think that's all of the questions. So in any case, guys, I'm gonna let everybody kind of go. I'm gonna paste the demo link one more time, just as a final hurrah. Make sure to click on the link. Make sure to click on the link. Make sure to book a demo. We can go through like the credits and how much it would be used for your use case specifically, like one by one, and we can analyze how much that would cost for you. Figure out the best package for your use case specifically. Just make sure you book a demo, and we can definitely have a good time and kind of have that discussion with you based on your needs. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining today. I'll email you this recording and I'll see you guys next time. All right. Bye.